he had to play a concert, or he played a concert with the whole concert was Bach. I had just started lessons with him. I think it happened to be in January or in February, somewhere early. And Timothy and I, we went there to that concert, packed. But throughout the concert, I felt there was some uneasy. He was somehow not what I had seen in other recitals. So ultimately, when he was finished, and then we went together, we went to have some coffee somewhere. Well, first he met all his dignitaries and people and musicians, but afterwards we escaped, so to speak, because he was that way a little bit inclined, you know, he didn't like too much of that. Huh? We went to have some coffee, and I just attacked it. I said, listen, Mr. Yepes, I still called him that. I said, Mr. Yepes, tell me whether I'm wrong. And I'm not trying to be forward or anything like that. But I had the feeling you were not happy when you were playing. He said, no, I wasn't happy. I said, why? I mean, you know. He said, you must understand there were many good musicians from Madrid, and I played Bach for them, but I only played half the Bach. So I said, what do you mean, half the Bach? He said, well, look, for the six-string guitar, obviously, if it's a suite, for the theobre, the big lute, you have to arrange it, obviously. He said, and sometimes you have to bring a bass down or leave it out or make some arrangement. And I'm not happy about that, because I either had to omit things or change things to adapt to the six-string guitar. That was now before he thought of a 10-string guitar. But it must have been maybe something was already going on in his mind. Maybe just instinctive or something. He was not happy, and he admitted it, that he felt he didn't do justice to the music that Bach really wrote. That was very interesting, I think.
Yo considero que la música efectivamente no está en las notas. Y tenía mucha razón Debussy cuando afirmó que la música no está en las notas, la música está entre las notas. Es decir, esto nos lleva a aquella famosa frase refiriéndose a la música de San Agustín, la frase de San Agustín que decía: el sonido es el cuerpo y el tiempo es el alma. Efectivamente, tenía mucha razón también San Agustín, porque el contenido musical, es decir, el alma de la música, no está en la misma nota, en las propias notas, sino el tiempo que pasa entre una nota y otra.
Let me tell you, when I encountered the first time a 10-string guitar, he just had it. It's a very brief time I was in Madrid to study with him again, and there he was with that, I think it was a Ramirez, 10-string guitar. I'd never seen one. And the thing that he played for me, interestingly enough, was a pavane by Louis Milan. I'll never forget that. The moment I heard that sound, that sound reminded me of a cathedral, of a church, that sort of sound. I said, I must have this. There was no doubt in my mind. How can you doubt that? I need that instrument. That was the first time I heard it. And all he played for me then was a pavane. But it sounded so beautiful, so full. Huh? That's the first time. And my reaction was, I must have this. This is the sound. I must have the sound. Then, for my first impression, or my first encounter like that was that it was all sound. But if we start analyzing the whole thing a little bit, then there is much deeper thought in that than at first appears. Number one, I think that all strings are of the same length. That already makes a big difference, because the moment you have a bass string free and longer, it doesn't have the same sort of sound that you get there. Then the other thing, and that is that the low string, the low sound, is number 7. So we know I, as a child, as a youngster, played on a 7-string guitar, which my dad had adapted his guitar to get 7 strings like the Russians play. So that in itself, just that indicates that he was also after fingering the 7th string. Now he has he has a technique. I've seen him do anything. He does anything he wants to do, because you dare not say to him, "This is not possible." He'll make it possible. So I'm sure that thought must have been there as well. For me, just to have them all on the fingerboard. Just that. To me, the 10-string guitar with the Yepes tuning as a basis, because that was the idea. I remember that he was playing a concert somewhere and he found Ramiro and said to Ramiro, "Listen, stop all this fiddling around with strings inside, outside, this, that, and the other. I've thought up an idea. I've made a study. We can do this, that, and the other, the way the tuning." And that is very important, that people realize, number one, starting, that's the tuning. Because that's where you get the resonances that we are looking for.
En la guitarra de 10 cuerdas, cualquier sonido que toque, de los 12 que forman la escala musical, tiene la misma resonancia. Si toco un fa, hay una cuerda que está en vibración. Toco un fa sostenido, hay otra cuerda que está en vibración. Siempre hay una cuerda.
Remember, it's still not perfect. It's still, but it's not like that. It's more like that, okay? Well, nothing is really perfect anyway. There's no such thing in any event. But to me, played properly now. And there are people, and there is one of them here in South Africa that uses the instrument properly. It's a new thing. I cannot play a 6-string guitar anymore. I feel as if I'm on a broomstick. And I'm of an advanced age now. You would think, I'll still play it. Especially when you play slow music with the intent of sound. Not this acrobatic stuff. That you can use a banjo, but really music making, and you always discover the true musician in the slow music where you are totally exposed from note, chord, note to note. That's where the musician is. He's in between those notes. And therefore that, the 10-string guitar, is the answer. Of course he does. Extensively. The last time he was in Johannesburg in 1984, I saw him play some beautiful music, Scarlatti, Falconaren. He is all over the show with his right hand and the left hand. Some modern music, he uses the left hand as well. Not all over the show, but where he found it necessary, or for a certain sound effect that he wants, because he's always after that. He's always after, what can I do? What's the intention of the composer here? What does he want to do? But of course, when he's looking for sound, he's not over the guitar like this all over the show. He doesn't do that. He gets a lot of his impressions of sound in the one spot, in the same spot. Comes from your hand, from your arm. This is a natural development. Once you have it there, that's what he always says. I can't stop anything. I can't stop something if I don't have it to stop it. He always says that. So once the strings are there, like that, with Fritz, people will start ultimately using it. Not only Yepes, also other people.